Ambassador Kira Patel had spent 15 years preparing for humanity's first contact with an advanced alien civilization. She had mastered 6 Earth languages, earned 3 PhDs in xenobiology, xenolinguistics, and diplomatic relations, and developed what she believed was an unshakable calm in the face of the unknown. None of that prepared her for the moment a crystalline being that looked like a sentient diamond sculpture started crying because she sneezed. The Luxarian diplomatic delegation had arrived at the International Space Station Beta with all the majesty one would expect from a species that had mastered faster-than-light travel millennia ago. Their ship, a graceful construct of living crystal, had docked with perfect precision. The lead delegate, who introduced themselves as First Light of Dawn, emerged in a shower of rainbow refractions that turned the austere station dock into something out of a fairy tale. Everything was going perfectly until Kira's pepper allergy met the exotic perfumes the Luxarians exuded as a sign of respect. The sneeze echoed through the dock like a gunshot. The Luxarian delegation immediately dropped to what Kira assumed were their knees, though with their crystalline physiology it was hard to tell. First Light of Dawn began emanating a high-pitched chiming that the universal translator rendered as, "We submit to your dominance display, mighty warrior of Earth." What? Kira managed, fighting back another sneeze. No, I just have allergies." Such modesty from one so powerful. Another delegate chimed in, their crystalline form vibrating in what appeared to be terror. To claim weakness while demonstrating such magnificent biological warfare capabilities. Kira's assistant, James Rodriguez, chose that moment to rush in with her antihistamine spray. The Luxarians watched in horror as she accepted the small cylinder. The human warrior accepts ritual combat enhancers from her subordinate. First Light of Dawn's chimes reached a pitch that made the station's warning sensors activate. Truly, they are as fearsome as the ancient prophecies foretold. Prophecies. Kira managed between sneezes. What prophecies? The ones that speak of beings so mighty they intentionally consume poison for pleasure, who keep apex predators as pets, who challenge death itself through recreational activities. The translator struggled to keep up with First Light of Dawn's increasingly panicked chimes. James stepped forward, trying to help. "I think there's been a misunderstanding. Ambassador Patel isn't trying to." The subordinate speaks without permission, yet the mighty one allows it. Such confidence in their power structure, such innovative command dynamics. Kira watched 15 years of careful diplomatic preparation crumble as the Luxarian delegation huddled together, their crystal forms reflecting their panic in cascading rainbows across the dock. She tried one more time to salvage the situation. "Please let me explain. On Earth, sneezing is just a natural response to." They openly admit to their biological capabilities. Another delegate chimed in terror. No attempt at deception. The psychological dominance is overwhelming. Before Kira could say another word, the Luxarians had retreated to their ship, leaving behind what they hastily described as tribute to the mighty warriors of Earth, a collection of advanced technology that would have taken humanity decades to develop on their own. As the crystalline ship departed with almost indecent haste, Kira turned to James, who was trying very hard not to laugh. "Did we just," she began, "accidentally terrify an advanced alien species by sneezing?" "Yes, Ambassador, I believe we did." "And did they just give us faster-than-light technology as a peace offering?" "Also yes." Kira looked at the pile of advanced technology, then at her antihistamine spray, and finally at the rapidly departing Luxarian ship. "The UN is never going to believe this report." "Oh, I don't know," James said, finally letting out a chuckle. I think this might be the start of a beautiful misunderstanding. As if to punctuate his words, the station's A announced, "Incoming transmission from Galactic Central Council. Priority level, urgent. Subject, Earth's status as a warrior race of unimaginable power." Kira sneezed again. Somewhere in the distance, alien sensor arrays probably registered it as an act of war. "James," she said with all the dignity she could muster, "I'm going to need a lot more antihistamine. I have a feeling this is just the beginning of a very long diplomatic incident." "Yes, Ambassador. Should I also prepare a briefing on why humans keeping cats as pets doesn't actually make us intergalactic warlords?" "Let's take this one cultural misunderstanding at a time." Kira sighed, looking at the tribute of advanced technology. "Though I have to admit, as diplomatic incidents go, this one might actually work in our favor." The station's A chimed again. "Second incoming transmission. Subject, request for alliance from 7 different species, all citing fear of Earth's sneeze warfare program." It was going to be a very long day in Earth's diplomatic corps. 1 month after the sneeze incident, Admiral Thora Blackfield stood in front of the United Nations Security Council, trying to explain why her morning workout routine had nearly started an interstellar war. "Let me get this straight," the Chinese representative said, pinching the bridge of his nose. "The Luxarians sent observers to study human behavior." "Yes, sir." "And they saw you jogging." "That's correct, sir." "And now they think humans are preparing for some kind of endurance warfare." Thora shifted uncomfortably in her dress uniform. "Their exact words were terrifying persistence hunters who chase their prey until it loses the will to live." Apparently, the concept of recreational running is concerning to them. The Security Council chamber erupted in barely contained laughter, which quickly died when an aide rushed in with an urgent message. The UN Secretary-General read it, then looked up with an expression of disbelief. "The Luxarians have just offered us control of 3 star systems in exchange for a promise not to use our devastating pursuit tactics against them. They're throwing in advanced terraforming technology as a gesture of goodwill." Thora wasn't sure whether to laugh or cry. "Should I?" "Stop jogging, sir." "Admiral." The Russian representative leaned forward. "I suggest you take up marathon training immediately." The situation only escalated from there. Luxarian observation posts around Earth kept filing increasingly panicked reports about human behavior, each more misinterpreted than the last. A college student pulling an all-nighter became "humans have evolved beyond the need for sleep." A hot sauce eating contest was reported as "warriors proving their immunity to chemical weapons." Someone posting their gym progress photos was interpreted as documenting their evolution into a superior fighting form. The breaking point came during what should have been a routine cultural exchange. The Luxarian embassy had requested to observe a typical human social gathering. The UN Diplomatic Corps, hoping to finally dispel some misconceptions, arranged a simple dinner party. Ambassador Puttle watched in horror as every human social norm was misinterpreted through the lens of warfare. The Luxarian observers huddled in terror as humans casually handled eating utensils, wielding multiple bladed weapons while maintaining casual conversation. Clinked glasses in toasts, ritual combat challenges acknowledged with ceremonial crystal warfare, and shared food, demonstrating dominance by consuming from their companions' plates. When dessert was served and the humans brought out ice cream, the Luxarian observers nearly short-circuited their universal translators in panic. They consume frozen sustenance for pleasure. Their temperature resistance is beyond our comprehension. The situation reached new heights of absurdity when someone's smartphone rang with a custom ringtone. They have weaponized music itself. The sonic warfare device is disguised as a recreational tool. That evening, after the Luxarian observers had hastily departed, leaving behind another cache of advanced technology as a peace offering, Kira found herself in an emergency meeting with the newly formed Human Diplomatic Crisis Management Team. The good news, Intelligence Director Ravi Kapoor announced, pulling up a holographic display, is that Earth's position in galactic politics has never been stronger. The bad news is that it's entirely based on a series of escalating misunderstandings. How bad is it? Kira asked, dreading the answer. Well, Ravi clicked through his presentation. The Luxarians have classified human laughter as a psychological warfare technique. They think coffee is a combat stimulant. They believe our entertainment industry is actually a complex military training program. And, he paused, looking pained, they recently discovered cat videos. Oh no. Oh yes. They're convinced we've mastered mind control because, in their words, humans have subjugated tiny apex predators and compelled them to perform humiliating acts for entertainment. They think we're broadcasting these videos as a warning to other species. Admiral Blackfield, who had been quietly sipping her coffee, spoke up. So what you're saying is, through no actual effort on our part, humanity has accidentally convinced the most advanced civilization we've met that we're essentially space orcs. Precisely, Ravi nodded. And it gets better. Other species are starting to take notice. We've received formal surrender offers from 3 different civilizations we haven't even met yet. Kira buried her face in her hands. This is a diplomatic nightmare. Actually, Admiral Blackfield said thoughtfully, this might be the best thing that could have happened to Earth. Think about it. We've gained advanced technology, territorial concessions, and a position of respect in the galactic community, all because we sneeze and jog. But it's all based on a lie. Is it? Ravi interjected. We didn't actually lie about anything. They observed real human behavior and drew their own conclusions. Very, very wrong conclusions, but still. The room fell silent as they contemplated the implications. Finally, Kira spoke up. So what do we do now? Before anyone could answer, the station's AA interrupted. Incoming priority message from Luxarian High Command. They've discovered human extreme sports footage on the internet. Admiral Blackfield took another sip of her coffee. Well, I guess we're about to become even more terrifying. Somewhere in the galaxy, a Luxarian analyst was watching a video of humans wingsuit flying and wondering just what kind of species would willingly jump off perfectly good mountains. The answer, apparently, was humanity, the most accidentally terrifying species in the known universe. And they hadn't even discovered competitive eating contests yet. 6 months into humanity's accidental rise as a galactic superpower, Lieutenant Ishani Roy found herself explaining TikTok dance challenges to a panel of alien anthropologists. So, you're saying, the Luxarian scholar's crystalline form flickered with confusion, that these synchronized movement rituals aren't combat training sequences. They're just for fun, Ishani explained for what felt like the 100th time. People do them too. 2D unon stir ATP RFAKT UNIT interrupted a Vexillian observer, its tentacles writhing in excitement. Observe how millions of humans across their world can execute identical movement patterns with precision. The coordination. The discipline. No, really, it's just. And they do this voluntarily. A gaseous Ephirian swirled in its containment field. Without military command structure. The level of ingrained warrior culture is unprecedented. Ishani gave up. At least they hadn't discovered flash mobs yet. But Earth's reputation had brought unexpected benefits. The Galactic Trade Council, convinced that humans were master strategists playing some incomprehensible long game, had been practically throwing favorable trade agreements at Earth. The latest deal had included antimatter production technology in exchange for a promise that humans wouldn't expand into the Carina spiral arm too aggressively. In the Diplomatic Crisis Management Team's headquarters, now unofficially dubbed the Misunderstanding Management Center, Director Ravi Kapoor was briefing his team on the latest developments. The good news, he announced, is that Earth's economy is booming. The bad news is that our attempts to appear less threatening are having the opposite effect. How so? Admiral Blackfield asked, sipping her now legendary coffee. Several alien species had classified it as a restricted combat stimulant. Well, our public information campaign about human activities being peaceful. The Luxurians interpreted it as sophisticated psychological warfare. Our demonstration of Olympic sports as non-combat activities. They called it ritualized combat so ingrained in their culture, they've turned it into entertainment. Kiva Patel, recently promoted to head of interspecies relations, groaned. Please tell me there's nothing worse. Someone showed them professional wrestling. The room collectively winced. They think it's real, Admiral Blackfield asked. Worse, they figured out it's choreographed, and now they're terrified that we've evolved beyond the need for actual combat, and instead engage in symbolic warfare for pure entertainment. Before anyone could respond, the facility's A interrupted. Priority alert. The Arcturus Federation has just discovered human horror movies. The room fell silent. Oh no, Kira whispered. Oh yes, Ravit pulled up the incoming report. They think we're so fearless that we create simulations of our worst nightmares for entertainment. Their exact words were of what manner of beings face their deepest fears as a recreational activity. It gets better, Admiral Blackfield said, reading from her tablet. The Luxurian High Command just intercepted footage of a kindergarten Halloween party. And they think we're training our young to face cosmic horrors. The report calls it systematic fear desensitization from infancy. Kira buried her face in her hands. Sometimes I think we should just tell them the truth. About that, Ravik cleared his throat. The Galactic Council's Threat Assessment Committee just upgraded Earth's status to incomprehensibly advanced warrior culture. They cited our masterful deception in maintaining a facade of peaceful civilization, while obviously being the most militant species in known space. But we're not deceiving anyone. Kira protested. Exactly. That's what makes it so masterful, apparently. The situation reached new levels of absurdity when the Luxurians discover human internet culture. Memes were classified as encrypted military communications hidden in plain sight. Social media influencers were identified as morale officers maintaining civilian combat readiness. Someone even theorized that cat videos were actually sophisticated military training simulations, teaching humans how to handle unpredictable alien species. The final straw came when a Luxurian cultural analyst discovered mukbang videos. They BRADCAST themselves as massive quantities of sustenance as ASHOW of dominance. The report, written entirely in capital letters, circulated through every major species intelligence agency. Their digestive capabilities are beyond our common party henshaw. In the wake of this discovery, 3 more civilizations offered unconditional surrender to Earth. One of them they hadn't even contacted yet. Look on the bright side, Admiral Blackfield said during another crisis meeting. At this rate, we'll have unified the galaxy through sheer confusion before the decade is out. But what happens when they finally figure out the truth? Kira asked. Do you really think they believe it? Ravi countered. At this point, telling them we're just a bunch of weird primates who like dancing and keeping small predators as pets would probably be interpreted as the most sophisticated deception yet. The facility's AA chimed in again. New priority alert. The Luxarians have discovered human amusement parks. Admiral Blackfield actually laughed. Let me guess. They think roller coasters are some kind of extreme combat training. Actually, the AA replied, they've concluded that humans are so advanced that they've turned military G-force resistance training into a family recreational activity. They're particularly impressed that we start conditioning our young so early. Somewhere in the galaxy, a Luxarian analyst was watching a video of a human baby laughing on a carousel, convinced they were witnessing the first stages of warrior conditioning. Meanwhile, humanity continued its accidental ascension to galactic superpower status, one misunderstanding at a time. And nobody had told them about skydiving yet. The day Earth's reputation was put to the test began with a breakfast burrito. Ambassador Kira Patel was explaining the concept of spicy food to a delegation of Luxarian diplomats when the emergency alert sounded. The crystalline aliens had just watched in horror as she casually consumed what they considered weapons-grade capsaicin. Your species truly knows no fear, First Light of Dawn chimed in awe. Too willingly. The alert cut through their conversation. A massive unknown fleet had just emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Not Luxarian, not any known species, and they weren't responding to communications. In the newly established Earth Defense Command Center, Admiral Blackfield watched the tactical display with growing concern. The unknown fleet was massive, thousands of ships arranged in attack formation. What do we know? She asked. Director Ravi Kapoor pulled up the sensor data. They're called the Swarm. According to panicked transmissions from the Galactic Council, they're a species that consumes entire worlds, stripping them of resources and moving on. They've destroyed 3 civilizations in the past month alone. And they're heading straight for Earth, Admiral Blackfield finished. Perfect. The room's AA interrupted. Incoming transmission from the Galactic Council. The holographic display flickered to life, showing representatives from dozens of species. The Luxarian High Commander spoke first, their crystalline form pulsing with urgent light. Mighty warriors of Earth, the galaxy turns to you in its darkest hour. The Swarm has never been defeated. They show no mercy, no fear, no. Yeah, about that. Kira interrupted, having just rushed into the command center. There's something we should probably tell you. But before she could continue, the Zephyrian representative swirled excitedly. Yes, the humans will reveal their true military might. They have merely been toying with us, pretending to be a peaceful civilization. No, what I mean is, the species that trains their young to face horror, that laughs in the face of danger, that keeps apex predators as companions. The Vexillian delegate's tentacles waved enthusiastically. Surely the Swarm stands no chance. Admiral Blackfield muted the transmission. Well, this is awkward. We have to tell them the truth, Kira insisted. We can't pretend to be something we're not with actual lives at stake. Would they even believe us at this point? Ravi asked. Besides, we do have some advantages they don't know about. All that technology they've given us out of fear. We've been putting it to good use. The Admiral nodded. And humans might not be the warrior race they think we are, but we're pretty good at thinking outside the box. Outside the what? First light of dawn chimed in confusion. They had apparently been standing in the doorway, forgotten in the chaos. It's an expression. Kira began to explain, then stopped as an idea hit her. Wait, that's it. We might not be the unstoppable warriors they think we are, but we are really good at being weird. She unmuted the transmission. Galactic Council, we accept the challenge of facing the swarm, but we'll do it our way. The next few hours were a flurry of activity as Earth prepared its defense, but not in the way anyone expected. Let me get this straight, the Luxarian High Commander chimed skeptically. Your battle plan involves social media influencers. Trust us. Kira smiled. Nobody's better at getting attention than humans. As the swarm fleet approached Mars, they encountered their first surprise. Thousands of small satellites broadcasting on all frequencies. Not weapons, not shields, just an endless stream of cat videos, dance challenges, and mukbang streams. The swarm, a hive mind species that communicated through complex data exchanges, found their networks flooded with what they interpreted as nonsensical information. Ships began falling out of formation as their coordination suffered. They're slowing down, Ravi reported. The data flood is disrupting their communication patterns. But they're adapting. Time for Phase 2, Admiral Blackfield ordered. The emergency broadcast system, typically used for weather alerts and amber alerts, activated globally. But instead of warnings, it sent out a very different message. At 10-tone EVA-R1, the aliens think Pig Ace warriors. Time to POV them right. Start coasting. What followed was perhaps the greatest coordinated social media campaign in human history. Millions of people began simultaneously sharing their most inexplicable human moments. Parkour videos, extreme sports highlights, people eating ghost peppers, babies laughing at scary things, flash mobs in unlikely places, a tsunami of pure, concentrated human weirdness. The swarm's hive mind, attempting to process and understand this flood of information, began to overload. Their ships, dependent on coordinated action, started to drift apart. It's working, Ravi exclaimed. Their neural network can't handle trying to understand why humans do, well, anything we do. Send in the finale, Admiral Blackfield ordered with a grim smile. The coup de grace was a compilation of humanity's most inexplicable achievements. People free climbing skyscrapers, wingsuit flying through caves, dancing in dangerous places, and every other example of humans doing things that made even other humans ask, why? The swarm fleet, their collective consciousness overwhelmed by the sheer illogical nature of human behavior, began to retreat. In the command center, first light of dawn's crystalline form flickered in amazement. Truly, your species' warrior spirit knows no bounds. To weaponize confusion itself. Kira opened her mouth to explain, then closed it again. Maybe some misunderstandings were worth keeping. The swarm is in full retreat, Ravi announced. There. Are they sending a message? On the main screen, a transmission appeared. Humans too unpredictable. Threat level. Maximum. Species to be avoided at all costs. Admiral Blackfield looked at her coffee cup, then at the screen showing Earth's victorious defense force, millions of social media posts and cat videos, and shrugged. Well, they're not wrong about the unpredictable part. In the aftermath of what became known as the social media war, humanity faced an unexpected dilemma. Their reputation had grown even more fearsome. The species that had defeated the undefeatable swarm through what the Galactic Council called incomprehensible psychological warfare tactics was now considered the most powerful force in known space. 1 month after the swarm's retreat, the diplomatic crisis management team gathered for what would be their most important meeting yet. So, Admiral Blackfield began, "We've received formal requests from 37 species asking for our protection against future threats. They're offering, well, pretty much everything they have." "We should tell them the truth," Kira insisted. "We defeated the swarm by accident." Again. "Did we?" Ravi countered, bringing up a holographic display. "Look at the facts. We identified the swarm's weakness, their dependence on logical, coordinated communication. We exploited that weakness using our greatest strength, our ability to be completely unpredictable. That wasn't an accident. That was strategy. A strategy based on TikTok and cat videos." "Exactly. We turned our chaos into a weapon. That's the most human thing imaginable." The facility's AA interrupted. Incoming transmission from the Galactic Council. They're calling for an emergency session. Apparently, several species are requesting to study under Earth's warrior masters. First Light of Dawn, who had become something of a permanent fixture in Earth's diplomatic corps, chimed thoughtfully. "Perhaps there is wisdom in maintaining the misunderstanding. The galaxy has never been more peaceful than it is now, with humanity serving as its protector." "But we're not really," Kira began. "Aren't we?" Admiral Blackfield interjected. "Not warriors in the way they think, but protectors in our own way. We just saved the galaxy by being ourselves." The meeting was interrupted by another alert. The swarm had been spotted again, this time near a peaceful agricultural world in the Orion Arm. But instead of attacking, they gave the planet a wide berth, broadcasting a warning to their own kind. "Humans may be into extreme danger." "You know," Ravi said thoughtfully, "maybe we don't need to tell them the whole truth, but we could show them a different way of being strong." And so began Earth's next great diplomatic initiative. Instead of correcting the misunderstandings, humanity decided to redefine what it meant to be a warrior race. They established the Galactic Cultural Exchange Program, where other species could come to Earth to learn the secrets of human power. The Luxarians were amazed to discover that combat training could mean dancing, that endurance rituals could be community marathons for charity, that warrior feasts could be friendly barbecues where everyone brought a dish to share. Slowly, the galaxy's perception of Earth shifted. Yes, humans were still considered the most dangerous species in known space, but dangerous in a way that made the galaxy better, not worse. The Luxarians began hosting their own ritual combat gatherings. Dance parties where their crystalline forms created spectacular light shows. The Vexillians discovered they had a talent for extreme sports, their tentacles perfect for Parker. Even the gaseous Zephyrians started a cooking show, although their definition of edible required some careful translation. 1 year after the swarm's retreat, Kira stood before the Galactic Council again. The chamber was packed with representatives from hundreds of species, all eager to hear from Earth's ambassador. "The true strength of humanity," she began, fighting back a smile, "isn't in our ability to wage war. It's in our ability to turn anything, even war, into a reason to come together. We're not powerful because we're fearless. We're powerful because we face our fears anyway, usually by doing something that makes absolutely no sense." She gestured to a holoscreen showing scenes from Earth. Children laughing on roller coasters, crowds cheering at concerts, families sharing meals, athletes pushing their limits, artists creating beauty, scientists making discoveries, and people simply living their weird, wonderful, unpredictable lives. You called us warriors because we laughed in the face of danger, but that laughter wasn't a weapon. It was an invitation to find joy in the absurd, to build connections through shared experiences, to face the unknown with creativity instead of fear. The chamber was silent for a moment, then erupted in what each species considered applause: chimes, whistles, tentacle waves, and light pulses, creating a symphony of appreciation. Later, in her office, Kira found a message from the swarm. They had been observing Earth's influence on the galaxy and had reached a conclusion. Human CAAOs spreading. GLXY becoming NPRDITTGO. Request the PRMOSSIO and to send cultural OBSARVAs. We'd wish to learn. Kira looked at her coffee cup, thought about how this had all started with a sneeze, and laughed. Somewhere in the galaxy, several species probably interpreted that laugh as a sign of Earth's dominance. And for once, she was okay with that. Because in the end, humanity's greatest strength wasn't in being the warriors everyone thought they were. It was in showing the galaxy that there were better things to be. Weird, wonderful, and completely unpredictable things. And if that made Earth the most feared race in the universe, well, at least they were feared for all the right reasons. The Facilities A made one final announcement. The Luxarians have discovered human internet meme culture and are requesting formal training in what they call tactical absurdist warfare. Kira just smiled. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was probably for the best.